I won $4.2 million on a Tuesday night in Ohio. By Friday, my mother had hired a lawyer. By the next Tuesday, my brother and sister had joined her lawsuit against me. They weren't suing a stranger. They were suing me, their daughter, their sister, for not giving them half. My own family told a judge I had promised them the money that I owed them for raising me, for babysitting me, for just being related to me. And the worst part? They did it all with a smile, while telling everyone in Dayton that I was the selfish one. My name is Lauren Marie Hayes. I am 34 years old, and this is the story of how winning the lottery cost me my entire family. I never played the lottery. That's the first thing people get wrong. I wasn't one of those people at the speedway with a system, or a binder full of scratch-offs. I was an ER nurse at Miami Valley Hospital in Dayton, Ohio, working 12-hour night shifts, living in a one-bedroom apartment in Kettering that had a radiator that clanged like a haunted house every January. I had $47,312 in nursing school loans, a 2014 Honda Civic with 198,000 miles on it, and exactly $1,143.78 in my checking account on March 12, 2024. That night was a Tuesday. It had snowed that morning, that wet, heavy Ohio snow that turns to slush by noon. I was on my break at 9:47 p.m., sitting in the staff lounge, eating a cold turkey sandwich from the vending machine because the cafeteria was closed. My charge nurse, Maria, was scrolling on her phone and said, "Powerball is $4.2 million tonight. I'm feeling lucky." I laughed. I said, "I never win anything. My dad used to say our family was cursed when it came to luck." My dad, Tom Hayes, died of a heart attack when I was 19. He was 52. He worked at the GM plant in Moraine for 27 years until they closed it. He played the same 6 numbers every week for 20 years: his birthday, my mom's birthday, me and my siblings' birthdays. He never won more than $50. Maria dared me. "Come on, Hayes. 1 ticket. If you win, you buy the whole ER pizza." So on my way home at 8 a.m., dead tired after a night of 2 car accidents and a heart attack, I stopped at the speedway on Wilmington Pike. I bought 1 quick pick and 1 ticket with my dad's numbers: 7, 14, 21, 28, 33, Powerball 9. July 14th is my dad. February 1st is my mom Denise. August 28th is my brother Tyler. March 3rd is my sister Ashley. September 9th is me. It cost $4. I paid with quarters from my cup holder. I stuck it in my scrub pocket and forgot about it for 36 hours. Thursday night, I was back on shift. Around 11 p.m., I was cleaning up after a trauma and my phone buzzed. It was the Ohio Lottery app notification I didn't even remember downloading. "Check your numbers." I was standing by the biohazard bin, gloves still on. I opened it, scanned the barcode on that crumpled ticket from my locker. The screen did this little animation. Confetti. Then the words, "Winner. $4,200,000, Powerball jackpot." I thought it was a glitch. I scanned it again. Same thing. My hands started shaking so bad I dropped my phone on the floor. Maria picked it up, looked at it, and screamed. The whole ER thought someone was coding. I didn't sleep for 2 days. I called the Ohio Lottery office in Cleveland on Friday morning. A very calm woman named Patricia walked me through it. Yes, it was real. Yes, I had to come in person. No, Ohio does not let you stay completely anonymous. Your name and city become public record. But she said, most winners set up a trust or an LLC to claim. You need a lawyer first. I called Mark Benson. He's a estate attorney in downtown Dayton my hospital uses for wills. I met him that afternoon. He was 60, wore suspenders, and didn't even blink. He set up the LMH 2024 trust. He told me to take the lump sum. After federal and Ohio state taxes, it would be about $2.67 million. Not $4.20. Still more money than I had ever comprehended. I didn't tell anyone for 4 days. Not a soul. I just kept going to work. I kept eating vending machine sandwiches. I kept driving my Honda. I was terrified. I had seen what money did to families on TV, but I genuinely thought my family was different, my family. Let me tell you about them, because you need to understand this wasn't just about greed. It was about 34 years of history. My mom, Denise Hayes, is 58. She worked at the Kroger on Dorothy Lane for 31 years as a cashier. After my dad died, she raised 3 kids on $14 an hour. She never remarried. She is tough, Catholic, and she keeps every birthday card she's ever received in a Rubbermaid tub. She also keeps score. She remembers who paid for what at Thanksgiving in 2011. My older brother, Tyler, is 36. He does HVAC installation. He has a wife, Jenna, and 2 boys, 8 and 5, in a 3-bedroom house in Huber Heights that they bought in 2019 with a 5% down FHA loan. Tyler is the golden child. He was a varsity wrestler. He stayed in Dayton. He mows mom's lawn every Saturday. He has always believed that because he stayed, he deserves more. My younger sister, Ashley, is 29. She lives in a loft in the short north in Columbus. She calls herself a content creator and brand consultant. She has 11,000 followers on Instagram, mostly from buying them. She has had 4 different businesses in the last 5 years: lashes, candles, dropshipping, a podcast. My mom has funded 3 of them. I funded one quietly with $2,500 in 2021. She never paid me back. We were close, in that Midwest, trauma-bonded way. We did Christmas at Mom's. We did summer cookouts. We argued about politics and then pretended we didn't. We were normal. I claimed the ticket on Monday, March 18th. The check was wired to the trust on Wednesday. On Thursday, I took the day off. I sat in my apartment and just stared at my bank app. $2,674,811.02. I cried. Then I made a list. Not a shopping list. A plan. Mark told me to do this. Pay off my student loans. $47,312. Pay off my car. $8,400. Pay off mom's house. She owed $89,400 on the little ranch on Eaker Street. She'd been paying on it since 1998. Set aside $500,000 in investments. Never touch it. Set aside $200,000 for taxes next year, just in case. Give each sibling $50,000, no strings. A gift. Give mom $100,000, plus the house. Keep $1.5 million for a house, my future, maybe cutting back to part-time nursing, maybe travel. It felt fair. It felt generous. It felt like more than enough. I called my mom first. I went to her house that Thursday night with a pan of lasagna from Cassano's, like always. I told her in her kitchen, while she was doing dishes. I showed her the paperwork from the trust. She dropped a plate. It shattered. Then she hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe. She cried. She said, "Your dad is looking down. He finally got his numbers." Then, within about 3 minutes, she said, so we can finally fix the roof. And I can retire from Kroger. And we can take that trip to Branson like we always talked about. I said, absolutely, Mom. I'm paying off the house tomorrow. And I'm giving you $100,000 to retire comfortably. She paused. Just for a second. Oh. Okay. $100,000. That's wonderful, honey. I didn't catch it then. I should have. I called Tyler next. He came over with Jenna and the boys on Saturday. I made spaghetti. I told him. Jenna started crying immediately. Tyler just stared at the wall. Then he said, holy shit, Lore. $4.2 million. You're set for life. I told him about the $50,000. I said, I want you to pay off your truck, maybe put some away for the boys' college. No strings. He didn't smile. He said, 50? That's it. I laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. He said, Lauren, that's like 1%. You won $4 million. After taxes, that's still like $3 million. You're giving your brother 50 grand. Jenna elbowed him. But the damage was done. Ashley was last. I drove to Columbus on Sunday. We got coffee at Stoff's. I told her. She filmed my reaction on her phone before I could stop her. She posted it to her Instagram story with the caption, my sister just won the lottery OMG, before I even finished talking. It had 3,000 views in an hour. I told her about the $50,000. She squealed. Then she said, oh my God, this is perfect for my rebrand. We can finally launch Hayes and Company. You can be the investor. I was thinking we need like $250,000 to do it right. Studio, inventory, PR. I said, Ash, it's a gift. $50,000. For you. Not for a business. Her face fell. Like a child. But, you're a millionaire now. That was the phrase. You're a millionaire now. Like I had changed species. I paid off Mom's mortgage on Monday. $89,432.11. I have the receipt. I wired her the $100,000 on Tuesday. I wired Tyler $50,000 and Ashley $50,000 on Wednesday. I thought it was over. I thought they'd be grateful. On Thursday, Mom called. Honey, can we talk about the house? The $100,000 is wonderful, but property taxes are going up, and I was thinking maybe you could put the house in your name, and I could just live here, and then you could pay the taxes and insurance forever. On Friday, Tyler texted, Jenna and I talked. $50,000 doesn't even cover our debt. We have $78,000 in debt, plus the house. If you really want to help family, you'd do $250,000 each. That's fair. On Saturday, Ashley posted a TikTok. It was her crying in her car. POV, your sister wins $4 million and gives you barely enough for a used car while she buys a mansion. It got 87,000 views. My coworkers sent it to me. I called Mark Benson, panicking. He said, Lauren, this is textbook. You need to stop communicating. You need to set a hard boundary. Do not give them another dollar. So I did. I sent a group text on Sunday, March 31st. I said, I love you all. I have given you gifts totaling almost $300,000, including Mom's house. That is all I am able to give. I need to protect my future. Please respect this boundary. My mom replied, okay. Tyler replied, wow. Ashley didn't reply. She just posted another TikTok. 2 weeks of silence. I thought it had blown over. I put a down payment on a small, 3-bedroom brick house in Oakwood, not a mansion. $340,000, a good school district in case I ever had kids. I was going to keep working part-time. I was going to be okay. Then on April 17th at 4:32 p.m., there was a knock on my new front door. A man in a polo shirt handed me a thick envelope. "Lauren Hayes? You've been served." I opened it at my kitchen island. It was from the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas. Plaintiffs: Denise M. Hayes, Tyler J. Hayes, Ashley R. Hayes, versus defendant, Lauren M. Hayes, trustee of LMH 2024 Trust. It was a civil lawsuit. For $2.1 million. Exactly half of my winnings after taxes. The claim? Breach of oral contract and unjust enrichment. They alleged that our family had a long-standing agreement, dating back to our father's death, that any windfall or unexpected financial blessing would be shared equally among all immediate family members. They claimed I had promised them each a third, verbally, in Mom's kitchen that night. They claimed they had relied on that promise to their detriment. Mom had retired from Kroger early, Tyler had turned down overtime, Ashley had signed a lease on a studio space. It was all lies. Every single word was a lie. Attached was an affidavit from my mother, signed and notarized. It said I was being selfish and had forgotten where I came from. I sat on the floor of my empty new house and read it 3 times. My phone buzzed. It was Ashley. She had posted the lawsuit to her Instagram story. Standing up for what's right. Family over everything. That was the end of part 1. That was the moment I realized winning $4.2 million didn't make me rich. It made me a target. And the people aiming at me were the same people I had just paid off their houses for. I didn't call my mom first. I didn't call Tyler or Ashley. I called Mark Benson, the estate attorney who set up my trust, and I was crying so hard the receptionist thought someone had died. Mark listened to me read the whole complaint over the phone. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Lauren, I do wills and trusts. You don't need a wills guy. You need a shark." He referred me to Sarah Chen. Sarah is 42, a partner at Cooper & Kent in Cincinnati. She defends doctors in malpractice suits. Her hourly rate was $475, which a month earlier would have made me throw up. Now, I just said yes. I met her the next morning in her office on the 22nd floor, overlooking the Ohio River. She wore a black blazer, no jewelry, and she had already printed out my entire family's social media. She slid the lawsuit across her glass desk. "They're suing you for breach of oral contract and unjust enrichment," she said. In Ohio, an oral contract for a gift of over $500 is unenforceable under the statute of frauds. It has to be in writing. Unjust enrichment means they have to prove they gave you something of value that you unfairly kept. Did your mother give you the lottery ticket money? Did your brother drive you to the store? No, I said. I bought it with quarters from my car. Good, she said. Then this is not a lawsuit. This is a shakedown. They're hoping you'll settle, because you're scared and because you love them. She was right about the scared part. I was terrified. Not of losing the money. Sarah said we would win. I was terrified of what would come out. Sarah filed our answer 5 days later. It was 8 pages of pure legal fire. Defendant denies each and every allegation. We also filed a counterclaim for abuse of process and defamation. Because Ashley had already posted the lawsuit, that's when it went public. Ashley didn't just post the lawsuit to her close friends. She posted it to her public TikTok. With the court documents blurred just enough to not get her in trouble, but clear enough to read my name. The caption, When your sister wins $4 million and leaves her family with crumbs. We had to do this. #family lawsuit, #lottery, #Ohio. It got 1.4 million views in 48 hours. Then the Dayton Daily News picked it up. Then WHIO Channel 7. The headline: Dayton ER nurse wins $4.2 million Powerball, sued by mother and siblings for half. They used my staff photo from the hospital website. I hadn't even told my manager yet. I walked into work on April 22nd for my night shift, and the entire ER was staring. Maria, the charge nurse who dared me to buy the ticket, hugged me and whispered, "What the hell, Hayes?" My manager pulled me into an office and asked if I needed a leave of absence. I said no, because if I stayed home, I'd just refresh Ashley's TikTok. My mom called me for the first time since the lawsuit that night. Not to apologize. She left a voicemail at 2:13 a.m. I still have it saved. Her voice was shaking. "Lauren Marie, I don't know why you're doing this to us. Your attorney is making us look like criminals. We are your family. We raised you. That money is a blessing from your father. He would want us to share it. Call me back and we can fix this without lawyers." I didn't call back. Sarah told me not to. Discovery started in May. That's the legal process where both sides have to hand over evidence. Sarah sent them requests. Produce any written agreement regarding lottery winnings. Produce all text messages, emails, and social media messages between plaintiffs discussing the lottery winnings between March 1st and April 17th. Produce all financial records showing reliance on alleged promise. Their lawyer, a guy named Kevin Malone out of a strip mall office in Miamisburg, sent us a box of junk. Printed out Bible verses about family. A photo of my dad's gravestone. A handwritten note from my mom from 2019 that said, "We share everything in this family." It was pathetic. Until we got their text messages. Kevin Malone made a massive mistake. He didn't review his client's group chat before producing it. He just exported the entire iMessage thread titled, "Hayes Family Business," and sent it as a PDF. It was 214 pages. Sarah called me at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. "Lauren, you need to come to my office tomorrow. Bring coffee." I sat in her conference room and read it page by page. It started on March 21st, 3 days after I told them I won, but a full month before they sued me. Ashley, OMG, she actually won. $4.2 million. Tyler, she said $50K each, LOL. Mom, she gave me 100 and paid house. That's good. Ashley, that's not good. That's like 5%. We are her family. Tyler, Jenna says we should get at least 500 each. That's fair. Mom, your father would want us to be equal. Ashley, I looked it up. We can sue for verbal promise. My friend did it in Columbus. Tyler, Kevin Malone says if we all say she promised, it's our word against hers. Mom, I don't want to sue my daughter. Ashley, Mom, you already retired. You need this. She is being selfish. Tyler, she bought a house in Oakwood. Oakwood. While we are in Huber Heights. Mom, April 2nd, okay. If that's what we have to do. But we do it together. I felt like I was going to vomit on Sarah's expensive table. They had planned it. For weeks. While I was paying off Mom's house. While I was wiring them money. While I was thinking we were okay. They were building a case against me. My mother, who I had just given $189,000 to, was typing, okay. If that's what we have to do. There was more. Ashley had messaged a brand deal manager on March 25th. My sister won the lottery. We're in a legal battle. My story is about to blow up. What's your rate for a 3-part series? She was monetizing the lawsuit before she even filed it. Tyler had texted Jenna on April 10th. Once we get the settlement, we can pay off the house and get the F-150. Don't tell Lore. Sarah looked at me. This is gold. This is textbook bad faith. A judge is going to throw this out and sanction their attorney. But it got worse before it got better. The depositions were scheduled for June in downtown Dayton. A deposition is where you sit in a conference room, under oath, and the other lawyer asks you questions while a court reporter types everything. It's videotaped. My mom went first. I watched from another room on a monitor because Sarah didn't want me in there. My mom wore the blue dress she wore to my nursing school graduation. She cried within 4 minutes. Kevin Malone, Mrs. Hayes, did Lauren promise you she would share the winnings equally? Mom, yes. In my kitchen. She said, Mom, we're all set now. We'll share this like Dad would have wanted. Malone, and did you rely on that promise? Mom, I retired from Kroger. I gave my notice on April 1st. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't think we were secure. Sarah Chun then got her turn. She is terrifying when she's calm. Sarah, Mrs. Hayes, you retired April 1st, correct? Mom, yes. Sarah, Lauren told you about her winnings on March 14th, correct? Mom, yes. Sarah, and she paid off your mortgage of $89,432 on March 18th. And wired you $100,000 on March 19th, correct? Mom, yes. She's a good girl. Sarah, so before you retired, you had already received $189,432 from your daughter, debt-free house, plus $100,000 cash? Mom, yes. Sarah, and you still decided to sue her for an additional $700,000? Mom started crying harder. We just wanted what was fair. Sarah slid the group chat across the table. Did you write this message on April 2nd? Okay. If that's what we have to do. But we do it together. My mom stared at it. The color left her face. I don't remember. That was the moment I knew I had lost my mother. Not because of the money, but because she was willing to lie under oath, and she got caught. Tyler's deposition was worse. He tried to be tough. He wore his Carhartt jacket. Sarah asked him about his finances. Sarah, Mr. Hayes, is it true you took out a $35,000 personal loan from Right Pat Credit Union on April 5th? Tyler, that's private. Sarah, you listed expected litigation settlement as your source of repayment on the application. Did you not? He went silent. His lawyer objected. But it was on the record. He had borrowed money against money he hadn't even sued me for yet. He was spending my winnings in his head. Ashley's deposition was last. She showed up with false eyelashes and a ring light. I swear to God. She asked if she could record it for her followers. Sarah shut that down fast. Sarah didn't even ask about the promise. She just played Ashley's TikToks in the room. The one where she cried in her car. The one where she said I gave her crumbs. The one where she announced the lawsuit. Sarah, Ms. Hayes, how much money have you made from TikTok creator fund and brand deals since posting about your sister's lottery win? Ashley smirked. Like, maybe $12,000. It's not about the money, it's about awareness. Sarah, so you've made $12,000 telling 1.4 million strangers that your sister is selfish after she gave you $50,000 for free? Ashley, she's a millionaire. She won't miss it. That line. She's a millionaire. She won't miss it. That was their entire case. After depositions, Sarah filed a motion for summary judgment. It's a request to the judge to throw the case out without a trial, because there is no real evidence. She attached the group chat, the loan documents, the TikTok earnings, everything. We waited. For 6 weeks, I lived in limbo. I went to therapy twice a week. I stopped going to family functions. My cousins stopped talking to me because my mom told them I had abandoned the family. I worked my shifts, came home to my quiet house in Oakwood, and waited. On August 9th, Sarah called. Judge Morrison granted our motion in part and denied in part. My heart stopped. What does that mean? It means he threw out the breach of oral contract claim because it's illegal in Ohio. He called it utterly without merit. But he's letting the unjust enrichment claim go to a jury trial. He says a jury should decide if it would be unfair for you to keep it all. I couldn't breathe. A jury? So 12 strangers in Dayton get to decide if I have to give my family half my lottery ticket. Yes, Sarah said. And that's actually good for us. Because we're going to show them that group chat. We're going to show them your brother's loan. We're going to show them everything. The trial date was set for November 4, 2024. 3 days before my 35th birthday. That night, I got a Facebook message from Jenna, Tyler's wife. She had never contacted me directly during the whole thing. It said, "Lauren, I'm so sorry. Tyler made me go along with it. He said if I didn't, he'd leave." I have the original voice memo from March 14th where you told Mom. You never promised to share. I saved it because I thought it was a nice moment. Do you want it? I stared at that message for an hour. My sister-in-law, the one person who had stayed quiet, had the one piece of evidence that could end this completely. A recording of me, in Mom's kitchen, saying exactly what I offered, not a penny more. I typed back with shaking hands, "Yes. Please." She replied, "I'll send it tomorrow. But Lauren, be careful. Tyler knows I have it." That was the end of part 2. I wasn't just fighting a lawsuit anymore. I was sitting on a bomb that could destroy my brother's marriage and prove my entire family committed perjury. Jenna sent the voice memo at 11:47 p.m. on August 9th. It came through as an iPhone voice note. 1 minute and 43 seconds long. The file name was just Lore Kitchen, M4. I was in bed in my house in Oakwood. The house I hadn't even fully furnished because I was scared to spend the money. I put my AirPods in. I pressed play. It was my mom's kitchen. You could hear the dishwasher running. You could hear me, my voice shaking because I was trying not to cry. Mom, sit down. I have to tell you something. I won. I won the Powerball. Mom, oh my God. Oh, Tommy, did you hear that? It's about 2.6 after taxes. It's in a trust. I'm going to be okay. And I want you to be okay too. So tomorrow I'm paying off the house, the whole thing. And I'm wiring you $100,000. To retire. To be comfortable. Mom, Lauren, honey. And I'm giving Tyler 50 and Ashley 50. As a gift. That's what I can do right now. I need to be smart with the rest. I love you. This doesn't change us, okay? This doesn't change us. Mom, of course not, baby. Thank you. Thank you. No promise to share equally. No, we'll split it 3 ways. No mention of Dad wanting anything. Just exactly what I had done. I listened to it 5 times, crying so hard I couldn't breathe. Then I forwarded it to Sarah Chen with just 2 words. We have it. Sarah called me at 7 a.m. the next morning. Lauren, this is a case killer. This is perjury. Your mother testified under oath that you promised to share equally. This proves she lied. What do we do? I asked. We authenticate it. We disclose it to the court, and we let their lawyer have a very bad day, she said. But Lauren, this came from Jenna. That means your brother is about to find out his wife betrayed him. Are you ready for that fallout? I wasn't. But it didn't matter. Tyler found out that afternoon. Jenna told me later that he went through her iPad while she was at Kroger. He saw the forwarded message to me. He came home screaming. He called her a traitor. He told her she had just cost their kids their college fund. According to Jenna, he punched a hole in their bedroom wall, 2 inches from her head. She packed a bag, took the boys, and drove to her sister's in Springfield that night. She texted me from the road. He knows. I'm safe. I'll still testify. I didn't sleep for 3 days. Kevin Malone, my family's lawyer, filed an emergency motion to exclude the recording, claiming it was illegally obtained and violated Ohio wiretapping law. Sarah laughed when she read it. Ohio is a one-party consent state. Jenna was in the kitchen. She was part of the conversation. She could record it legally. The judge, Judge Morrison, denied Malone's motion in 24 hours. He wrote in his order, "The court is troubled by the plaintiff's apparent misrepresentations during deposition." The word misrepresentations is judge speak for lies. The trial was set for November 4th, and the Dayton media went insane. WCHIO ran a nightly segment called Lottery Lawsuit. They camped outside the Montgomery County Courthouse. They camped outside my house. I had to park my Honda in the garage and use a rental car to go to work. Ashley loved it. She started a new TikTok series called Sister vs. Sister, The Trial. She was doing GRWM videos in the courthouse bathroom. She gained 80,000 followers in October. She launched merch. It said "Family over Money" on a pink hoodie, $4.45. I deleted all my social media. Jury selection took 2 days. Sarah and I sat at the defense table. My family sat 20 feet away at the plaintiff's table with Kevin Malone. My mom wouldn't look at me. Tyler stared at me the whole time like I had killed someone. Ashley was taking notes on her phone until the bailiff told her to put it away. Malone wanted parents, grandparents, people who believed in family sharing. He struck every young professional, every nurse, every person under 35. Sarah wanted people who understood boundaries, who paid their own bills. She struck a retired union worker who said blood is thicker than water during voir dire, and a woman who said she would have given her entire lottery win to her church. We ended up with 7 women and 5 men. Juror number 3 was a 29-year-old accountant named David. Juror number 7 was a 52-year-old middle school teacher named Patricia. Juror number 11 was a 41-year-old single mom who worked 2 jobs at Amazon. I prayed they would see me. Opening statements were on a cold Tuesday morning. The courtroom was packed. My co-workers from the ER were in the back row wearing scrubs. Kevin Malone stood up, buttoned his cheap suit, and pointed at me. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple case about a promise. Lauren Hayes won $4.2 million with numbers her father played for 20 years. Numbers that represent this family. She came to her mother's kitchen and she promised that they would share it like a family. Then she got greedy. She hired fancy Cincinnati lawyers. She bought a house in Oakwood. And she left her mother, who worked 31 years at Kroger, with crumbs." He made it sound like I had stolen from them. Then Sarah stood up. She didn't raise her voice. She walked over to the jury box and put the group chat on the big screen. "This is not about a promise," she said. "This is about a plan." On March 21st, 3 days after my client gave her mother $189,000 and her siblings $50,000 each, her sister wrote, "We can sue for verbal promise." On April 2nd, her mother wrote, "Okay. If that's what we have to do." On April 5th, her brother took out a $35,000 loan listing expected litigation settlement as income. They didn't sue because Lauren broke a promise. They sued because she wouldn't give them more. And they lied under oath to do it. She let that sit. "You're going to hear a recording," Sarah continued, "taken by a member of this family in that kitchen on that night. You will hear exactly what Lauren promised. And it wasn't half. It wasn't a third. It was a generous, loving gift, which she gave. And it still wasn't enough." My mom started crying. Ashley rolled her eyes. The plaintiff's case was a disaster for them, but they didn't know it yet. My mom took the stand first. Malone walked her through the story: poor widow, 3 kids, dead husband's lottery numbers, the promise in the kitchen. She was perfect. She cried on cue. The jury looked sympathetic. Then Sarah stood up for cross-examination. She was holding a printed transcript. "Mrs. Hayes, you testified in your deposition that Lauren said, and I quote, 'Mom, we're all set now. We'll share this like Dad would have wanted.' Do you remember that?" "Yes." Sarah pressed play on the courtroom speakers. My voice filled the room. That shaky, tired voice from March 14th. "I'm giving Tyler 50 and Ashley 50 as a gift. That's what I can do right now." The courtroom went completely silent. You could hear the radiator hiss. "Sarah, Mrs. Hayes, did you hear your daughter say, 'We'll share it equally'?" My mom whispered, "No." "Sarah, did you hear her say, 'like Dad would have wanted'?" "No." "Sarah, so you lied in your deposition?" Malone jumped up. "Objection." Judge Morrison leaned forward. "Overruled. The witness will answer." My mom looked at me for the first time in 7 months. Her eyes were red. I remembered it differently. I thought that's what she meant." Sarah didn't yell. She just said, "You remembered it differently after your daughter gave you $189,432. Thank you." No further questions. My mom had to be helped off the stand. Tyler was next. He tried to play the hard-working dad. Malone asked him about his HVAC job, his 2 boys, his mortgage. Then Sarah stood up. She put his loan application on the screen. "Mr. Hayes, you testified you relied on your sister's promise and turned down overtime because you expected money. Is that true?" "Yes." "Yet on April 5th, 12 days before you sued your sister, you applied for a loan and wrote that your repayment source was expected litigation settlement. Did you expect a settlement before you even filed the lawsuit?" Tyler's jaw clenched. "I knew she'd do the right thing." "You knew she'd settle because you were suing her, correct?" No answer. "And is it true you told your wife that if she didn't support the lawsuit, you'd leave her?" Malone screamed objection. Judge Morrison allowed it. Tyler looked at Jenna, who was sitting in the back row with her sister. "That's a lie." Sarah then called Jenna as our first witness. Jenna walked up in jeans and a sweater, no makeup. She didn't look at Tyler. She looked at me and gave a tiny nod. Sarah played the full voice memo. Then she asked, "Jenna, why did you record that night?" Jenna's voice shook. "Because it was a beautiful moment. Lauren was so happy. I wanted to remember it. I never thought I'd need it to prove she wasn't a liar." Then Sarah asked the question that ended it. Did Tyler tell you on March 22nd, and I quote from your text messages, "If she doesn't give us half we sue, Mom said we have a case?" Jenna looked down. Yes. Tyler stood up in the courtroom. "You bitch," he yelled. The bailiff stepped forward. Judge Morrison banged his gavel so hard I thought it would break. "Mr. Hayes, sit down, or I will hold you in contempt." Ashley was the last plaintiff witness. She tried to cry. She talked about her brand, and how the $50,000 wasn't enough to launch her dream. Sarah didn't even bother with the promise. She just put up Ashley's TikTok analytics on the screen. "Ms. Hayes, you've earned $47,832 from TikTok, Instagram, and merchandise sales since March 25th. All content about your sister's lottery win and this lawsuit, correct?" Ashley froze. It's my story too." "Your story," Sarah repeated. "You have made almost as much money exploiting your sister's win as she freely gave you. And you're suing her for more." Ashley had no answer. That afternoon, during recess, Kevin Malone found Sarah and me in the hallway by the vending machines. He looked exhausted. He had dark circles under his eyes. "My clients will settle," he said quietly. "They'll drop the suit. With prejudice. They just want you to cover their legal fees. $60,000. Sarah laughed. Not a mean laugh. A tired laugh. "Kevin, your client's committed perjury. My client has a counterclaim for abuse of process and defamation that a jury is going to hear tomorrow. We're not paying your fees. We're going to ask the jury to make you pay ours." He walked away. I went back into the courtroom for the afternoon session. My mom was sitting alone on the plaintiff's bench. Tyler and Ashley were in the hallway arguing. She looked small. She looked old. She looked at me and mouthed 2 words. "I'm sorry, I didn't know if I believed her. I didn't know if it mattered anymore." Judge Morrison came back in. "Ms. Chin, call your next witness." Sarah stood up. "The defense calls Lauren Hayes." It was my turn to tell the truth, under oath, with my entire family watching. They swore me in at 9:17 a.m. on November 6th. My right hand was shaking so bad the bailiff had to steady the Bible. Sarah had prepped me for 3 days. "Just tell the truth. Don't get angry. Don't cry if you can help it. Let the jury see the nurse, not the millionaire." Kevin Malone stood up for cross-examination and tried to make me look like a villain in a movie. He walked slowly, like he was on TV. "Ms. Hayes, you won $4.2 million, correct?" "Yes. Before taxes. And you gave your mother, who raised you alone for 15 years after your father died, only $189,000. I looked at the jury. Juror number 7, the teacher Patricia, was watching me carefully. I paid off her entire mortgage, which was $89,432, and I gave her $100,000 in cash, tax-free. That's almost $190,000. She was making $14 an hour at Kroger. That money meant she could retire immediately. I thought it was generous." "Generous?" Malone scoffed. "You kept over $2 million for yourself." Sarah objected. Judge Morrison sustained it. Malone tried again. "Isn't it true you bought a house in Oakwood, one of the richest neighborhoods in Dayton, just weeks after winning?" "Yes," I said. "A 3-bedroom brick house, for $340,000. I put 20% down. I still have a mortgage. I didn't buy a mansion. I bought a safe neighborhood with good schools, in case I ever have a family. I'm still working as a nurse, part-time." "Part-time," he said, like he'd caught me. "Must be nice to work when you feel like it." I took a breath. "Sir, I work in the ER. I held a 16-year-old's hand last week while he died from a gunshot wound. I work because I love it, not because I have to. The lottery didn't change my heart. It just changed my bank account. The jury was quiet. Then Sarah stood for redirect. She only asked one question. Lauren, why did you play your father's numbers that night? I hadn't expected that. My throat closed. Because he played them for 20 years and never won. And I missed him. And Maria dared me. And I thought, maybe just once, our family could have some luck. And when you won, Sarah said softly, what was your first thought? That I could finally breathe. That I could pay off my loans. That I could help my mom retire. That I could give my brother and sister a start. That Dad would be proud. Did you ever, for 1 second, think about keeping it all to yourself and cutting them off? No, I said, and this time I did cry. Never. Until they sued me. I stepped down at 10:42 a.m. Closing arguments were that afternoon. Malone gave a tearful speech about family loyalty and what would Tom Hayes want. Sarah didn't cry. She just played the evidence again. The group chat. The loan application. The voice memo. Ashley's TikTok earnings dashboard showing $47,832. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah said, unjust enrichment means someone got something they didn't earn, at someone else's expense. Lauren Hayes earned that ticket. She bought it with quarters from her car. She earned that money. The only people who got something they didn't earn are sitting at that table. They got $289,432 in gifts, and they wanted $2.1 million more. They got 1.4 million TikTok views, and they wanted your sympathy. Don't give it to them. The jury went out at 3:15 p.m. I waited in a small witness room with Sarah and a cold cup of coffee. My mom, Tyler, and Ashley waited in a conference room down the hall with Malone. Jenna texted me, praying for you. At 6:03 p.m., the bailiff knocked. Verdict. My legs almost gave out walking back into that courtroom. I couldn't look at my family. I stared at the American flag behind the judge, Judge Morrison. Madam Foreperson, has the jury reached a verdict? Juror number 7, Patricia the teacher, stood up. We have, Your Honor. On the claim of unjust enrichment, how do you find? We find in favor of the defendant, Lauren Hayes. I heard Sarah exhale next to me. I heard my mother make a small sound, like air leaving a tire. Do you find that the plaintiffs are entitled to any portion of the defendant's lottery winnings? No. On the defendant's counterclaim for abuse of process, how do you find? We find in favor of the defendant. Judge Morrison nodded. The jury has also awarded attorney's fees to the defendant in the amount of $127,500 to be paid jointly by the plaintiffs. $127,500. Exactly what Sarah's bill had been up to that point. It was over. Malone asked to poll the jury. Each juror said yes 12 times. Unanimous. My mom collapsed into sobs. Not dramatic TikTok sobs. Real, ugly, shoulder-shaking sobs. Tyler just stared straight ahead, his jaw locked. Ashley immediately pulled out her phone and started typing, probably a caption. Judge Morrison looked down at my family over his glasses. I've been on this bench 22 years, he said. I've seen a lot of sad cases. This is one of the saddest. Ms. Hayes worked a hard job. She won a legal lottery, and she was more than generous with her family. You 3 chose greed over gratitude. You chose perjury over truth. You will pay her fees, and I hope you use this as a lesson. Court is adjourned. The gavel hit. It sounded like a period at the end of a very long sentence. In the hallway, reporters swarmed. Sarah shielded me. My mom broke through. She grabbed my arm. Her makeup was ruined. Lauren, please. I'm sorry. He told us we had a case. Kevin told us. I didn't know. I pulled my arm away gently. Mom, you wrote okay. If that's what we have to do in the group chat. You retired early and then lied under oath. That wasn't Kevin. That was you. Tyler walked past me with Jenna's brother. He didn't look at me. He just said, loud enough for the cameras, enjoy your money. Ashley was already live on Instagram, crying. Guys, we lost. The system is rigged for the rich. I went home to my quiet house in Oakwood. I sat on the floor of my living room, still mostly empty, and I finally let myself feel everything. Not the win. Not the verdict. The loss. I had lost my family over money I had tried to share. The next 6 months were strange and quiet. The court ordered my family to pay the $127,500 in installments. They had to sell my mom's house, the one I had just paid off, to cover her third. She moved into a 1-bedroom senior apartment in Kettering. Tyler and Jenna officially divorced in February. He lost his HVAC job because his boss saw the trial on the news. He moved back in with my mom. Ashley lost 60,000 followers after a big YouTuber made a video exposing her TikToks. Her merch store shut down. I didn't celebrate. I went back to work full-time in January. Not because I needed the money, but because I needed the purpose. I needed to be around people who needed help, not people who wanted my help. In March, almost a year to the day after I won, I did 3 things. First, I went to see my mom. I brought her groceries. I didn't bring a check. I sat at her tiny kitchen table and I said, Mom, I love you. I forgive you. But I can't trust you with money ever again. So I'm setting up a trust. It will pay your rent, your utilities, and your insurance directly every month for the rest of your life. You will never have to work again. But you will never ask me for cash again. If you can live with that, we can have a relationship. She cried and said yes. Second, I sent Tyler and Ashley each a certified letter. It said I was forgiving their portion of the court-ordered debt. I told Sarah to write it off, but that I was enacting a permanent boundary. No contact unless it was a true emergency. I wished them well. I blocked their numbers. Third, I took $80,000, the exact amount from my original story idea, and I donated it anonymously to the Miami Valley Hospital ER Nurse Hardship Fund, in my dad's name, Thomas Hayes. I also started a $50,000 scholarship at my old nursing school for first-generation students. I didn't post about it. I didn't tell anyone except Sarah. People always ask me if I regret winning. I don't. I regret that $2.6 million showed me who my family really was. But I'm also grateful because it showed me who I really was. I'm not an ATM. I'm not a villain. I'm a 35-year-old nurse from Dayton, Ohio, who got lucky one Tuesday night and tried to do the right thing. Winning the lottery didn't ruin my life. It just cleared the fog. And sometimes, the clearest view is the most painful one. My name is Lauren Hayes. I won $4.2 million in the Powerball. My family sued me for not sharing. And I learned that the most expensive thing you can ever buy is peace, and it was worth every penny. Thank you so much for listening to my full story here on Justice Served Tales. If you stayed with me through all 4 parts, through the ticket, the betrayal, the courtroom, and the verdict, I want to hear from you. What would you have done? Would you have given your family half? Would you have forgiven them? Please like this video if you think I made the right call. Comment below with your thoughts. I read every single one. And share it with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to set boundaries, even with family. And if you love real-life courtroom dramas, crazy family betrayals, and stories where justice actually gets served, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for justice served tales. I have a brand new true story dropping next week, and trust me, you won't believe what this next family did for an inheritance. I'll see you in the next one.